was the one with Jake Gyllenhaal that was awful? The end of the world because the pirates disappeared.
Oh, God.
The Day After Tomorrow because Pirates of the Caribbean 7, the Lost Dildo.
That's the new Saints Row game. So, yeah, the first story we have here is it's like a mystery story I kept from you guys to kind of get your reaction on here. Apparently, this Texas teenager, he was playing League of Legends, and he made like a comment where he said, "Oh yeah, I'm real messed up in the head. I'm going to go shoot up a school full of kids and eat their still beating hearts." And then he said, and then he said, "LOL, JK" afterwards. So like whatever, he's joking. Apparently, a woman in Canada saw the post.
Yes.
Looked up the kid's address in Austin, Texas. Found out that he was near an elementary school. And called the police on him. The kid was then arrested 1 month later, and I think he's been in jail for about a few months now. Authorities, let's see here. Authorities charged him with making a terrorist threat, and if convicted, he will face 8 years in prison for what he said during League of Legends. That comment that I said. What are your guys' reaction to this? Is this fair?
Okay, you would hope that someone would be smart enough not to say that. But below that being the overriding factor, we would hope that this would be not that big of a deal. But underlying that, I think that, you have to watch what you say because people are overly sensitive. Let's say that. Now, we've all been on Xbox Live and we have all heard some of... I can't even create curse words like that. Like, it's magical what happens on Xbox Live with a 12-year-old sometimes.
Oh, God.
Like, they create words that I didn't know that fit together. But where do you draw the line? So I can say that, hypothetically, in theory, again, I'm not saying this, but, you and I could go shoot up an elementary school, okay? Is saying it on this podcast, is that enough reason to turn me in, even though I just prefaced this statement saying that it could be done, and, after the fact, I'm saying the fact that I'm not actually meaning this, but in theory, because I just said it, that someone can take it that way. Is that where the line is? Can we not say anything anymore in any context?
I think that because so much of that has happened, it's made people very sensitive to that particular type of thing even happening. It's kind of like, you have a lot of people that, and God, who doesn't joke around about things? Especially if it's in the company of other people or
online too.
Yeah, online. I mean, yeah, who doesn't? Because you don't really think about that because it's like one of those things. You know that you won't do something like that, but
I guess mother in Canada doesn't.
Yeah,
that kind. But there again, that's where you have to really sit down and think about it.
Yeah.
Like, this person doesn't know me. They only see so many things. And not to mention, there's another side of this that we haven't turned yet. I'm about to. Is that always after one of these horrible tragedies, we know the tragedies. The media attempts to uncover, well, somebody could have stopped him if blank.
Yeah.
This is one of those scenarios to where if this didn't get reported and this didn't happen, and said event did happen, then somebody would be able to point back and say, well, Mom in Canada knew about it. On the other side of it, if it did happen, then
should be a hero in that case.
They would be responsible for, because there was no real intent. And that's what I'm the definition of intent. Just because you say something doesn't mean you're going to do it. I'm going to go to the gym today. I'm not going to the gym today.
That's not happening.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So because now I said that I am going to the gym, that I have to go to the gym, like, where is the intent? Where do you draw the line?
Would it be like somewhere like along the same line as, say, like someone's in a movie theater and they yell out fire? Would that be like in the same lines?
There's actually constitutional law on that. There's a pretty good precedent for yelling fire in a crowded theater. There's arguments on both sides.
Yeah.
But if you stand with the First Amendment, then you obviously have to assume that, with all the things that happened up to it and then after it, it was not a real thing. Now, granted, that doesn't mean that it couldn't be a real thing the next time.
Obviously, this dude just wasn't thinking before he put that up.
Right.
That just has.
He's obviously a child.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He's a teenager. I think he's I'm not sure on the exact age. Let me just look that up real quick here. If it has it, it just says he's a teenager. So
Yes, I'm saying I was assuming that he was under the age of 18, and therefore that's why his name was not listed in any of the reports.
right,
You know,
exactly.
and that would be the reason for that.
But like the question, the follow-up question I have like for this really is, it's kind of a gray area as far as like whether the mother in Canada was like right or wrong for reporting on whatever. The real question I have on this though is he is being faced potentially for 8 years of imprisonment for what he said here. Would the time fit the crime in this case?
Never.
Not really.
Never.
No.
Overnight in jail? Definitely. Scare the pants off of him every day.
Yeah.
But
I'm never playing League of Legends ever again.
I mean, not even that. It's just one of those things that you have to understand that you did something wrong, and that it's not good, and that even if it's not legally wrong, that it's socially unacceptable.
Yeah. It goes to the expression like, "Do what thou wilt" should be the whole of the law. Like if he hasn't physically hurt anybody.
Yeah, are we prosecuting thought crimes?
Yeah, I mean, like
because
considered like a terrorist threat.
every day.
It was considered like a terrorist threat. That's how they're classifying it as.
And see,
Because it hasn't happened yet.
at that point, it's just like, would it not be better just to put him on probation, monitor him? You know what I'm saying?
Make sure.
That's
what I'm saying.
Like 8 years is a long time for somebody who, especially, went out and physically tried to do this. That's something that I would understand that. Of course,
I mean, if you actually brought a gun into an elementary school attempting to kill children, then yes, you should serve probably 25 plus.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
The only lesson you're really teaching anybody at that point is that, like, you have to immediately judge this person because they said this. And because they said this, that brands them as this particular thing. Not because they weren't thinking or because they might have just said something out of pocket. But you're judging that person. It's like, honestly, that's not fair to me.
8 years is too long.
Yeah, that's not fair to me.
Don't care what you say.